We were all very curious about how the ACA was going to play out in 2012 because it played such an important role in motivating Republicans to come out to the polls disproportionately in 2010. Democrats took a big risk in early 2009 when they embarked on health care reform. Most voters said the economy was their number one issue, and a lot of independent voters in particular saw Democratic insistence on passing health care reform as something that wasn't necessarily addressing jobs, which was the top concern of the country. And when that happened, the Democratic base stuck with Democrats, but independent voters really fell off, and they voted for Republicans by 19 points in 2010. So the question was, were Democrats going to recover among that group in 2012? And Democrats still lost independents in 2012, but they were able to turn out the Democratic base at such a high rate that it overcame Mitt Romney's advantage with independents. And by 2012, Democrats had pivoted back to the economy, had in particular cast Mitt Romney as someone who was so wealthy that he didn't care about the average concerns of an American who was looking for a job. That hurt him in a variety of swing states, even if those independents were ambivalent on the Affordable Care Act. Republicans are at a huge fork in the road here. If Republicans are still talking about repeal and replace, an increasing number of independents who feel like this issue has already been litigated are going to view Republicans as living in the past, dwelling on an issue that was decided by the Supreme Court last year. And so Republicans have to be careful about the way they frame this issue. In particular, Republican governors are going to have a lot to say about how health care is viewed as an issue by most voters. They're the ones in a lot of states who are deciding whether to accept Medicaid expansion money or whether to try and appeal or repeal parts of Obamacare and satisfy their Republican Party bases. So in the states is where a lot of this healthcare battleground is really going to play out in 2014, particularly since there are so many governorships up across the country. Well, in 2012, there was a movement called Americans Elect, which tried to get a third-party nominee on the ballot. The nomination was there for the taking, and no one decided to take it, at least not anyone who the movement felt was worthy of it. So in 2016, the question is, if Americans are increasingly dissatisfied with both parties, don't see themselves represented well by either, in an open seat situation for the White House, is a third-party candidate going to get traction? Is a group such as Americans Elect going to find a candidate willing to take that nomination? And I think it's a very live possibility, and one that could reshuffle the American political landscape for years to come if that does come to be the case in 2016.